Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Rant Rave Repeat. Now, today, I and my guest am going to be talking about some wrestling. Now, I haven't done this yet on the podcast. There's been a couple times I've almost done it. I've been very close. As you can probably judge on GeekVerse, I'm a big wrestling fan. Most of my nicknames are usually wrestling or comic book related. Been a fan since I was 6 months. My grandmother said at 6 months I started watching Batman and wrestling, and that was it. And that's pretty much the exact same thing that I do today. We're going to be talking about the brand split. I'm joined by the GeekVerse Secretary.
Hi guys, I'm Emily.
Yes, and she has, I guess I kind of converted you. How long have you been watching wrestling now?
I started watching wrestling December of 2012. It would have been TLC would have been my first, not my first introduction to wrestling, but my first. Was it 12 or 14? 2012. It was.
Oh yeah, because it was just a switch over
TLC pay-per-view, and it was the first actual wrestling pay-per-view I've ever watched.
Yeah, because you said your family didn't let you watch wrestling.
I grew up in a very non-violent household, and we weren't allowed to watch wrestling because it was too violent.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching my whole life because I guess my family didn't give a crap. It's just like, oh, you watch, I watch that, and Chucky and everything like that. But anyways, we'll get into the topic. What we're talking about today is a brand split, and that's why I wanted to do a podcast, because it's a huge thing. It's something that has been rumored for a while. You, myself, and Mackenzie will probably be referenced a few times on this podcast. My sister, same thing, watched her whole life, have been talking about. So yeah, they announced today, July 19th, they're going to split the brands. They're going to have unique rosters, and they're going to have SmackDown Live on Tuesdays. How do you feel about a brand split, and then how do you feel about it being on Tuesdays?
I'm not really opposed to either.
Okay.
First of all, SmackDown's already taped on Tuesdays, so that doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah.
And sorry everybody out there, but we do not watch SmackDown.
Only if it's a good match, to be honest.
Well, we don't actually have cable anymore, so we have to live stream even Monday Night Raw, and that can be a pain. And so when Thursday rolls around, we just don't have a chance to do it for SmackDown, so we don't really watch it. But maybe now that it's live, we'll actually take the time to watch SmackDown, which I think will be a good thing.
Well, that and now we kind of have to now, right?
Well, and it will.
That's the thing of. I've wanted to watch SmackDown, but it's the thing of there is so much good TV, and just being so busy, it's one of the things of priorities. And people tell me SmackDown's a good show, I believe them, but there's so many times you would see matches advertised for SmackDown, and then on Raw they'd be happening the prior week. So it's like, why do I feel like I need to watch SmackDown if all the stuff is going to happen over here? You know, like I said, if there's a big match, I would watch every once in a while or check it out, but I didn't that much. But now it literally, and that's where I guess from a business wise, maybe it's kind of smart, because now, as myself, a big wrestling fan, you know, even though you think, oh, he's not a big wrestling fan, doesn't watch SmackDown, I think we can all be honest. It's kind of, Paul Heyman's even just said it's like the bitch show. You know, they don't really put much effort into that. It's just a bunch of wrestling, which is good, but it's wrestling that you're probably going to see on Monday, you know. But now you have to watch it, pretty much. Like, if you get certain guys on that show, you're going to have to watch it.
You definitely have to watch it. Like, in our case, maybe it's one that we don't watch live. We can even just stream it later on. But, well, regardless, I can guarantee throughout the week now we will be watching it, because we're going to see, obviously with the brand split, we're going to be seeing different guys on different shows. So if we have favorites that are only on SmackDown, we're going to be watching that.
I was going to say, I'll be watching it live now. Because the two things is because it's live, so that makes it more important. Because the taped, anytime you got something taped wrestling, it just has, even NXT, which I love, the takeovers are so much better because you know it's live and you got that. It's just, even sports, the same reason why I don't watch a football game or everything else recorded, right? Wrestling's the only one, if I miss it, I'll go and watch it. But if I miss a football game, I just miss it. You know, I don't go back and watch it. So SmackDown being live, it gets that feeling of, oh, it's live, I have to see it. And now if there's certain guys, we'll talk about maybe potential people, but if there's someone like Kevin Owens on SmackDown, I won't be able to be like, oh, I'll catch it this weekend, or I'll catch it Friday. You know, if that's the only place I can see Kevin Owens, I'm going to be watching it on Tuesday, because it's just going to, I'm just going to want to see it, you know, and I don't want, because you're not going to want to hear about where SmackDown, when it was taped on Tuesdays, especially with social media, there's times where I would hear about stuff already, and that was one of the main reasons why I wouldn't watch SmackDown too, because you'd see a spoiler of this or that, you know, there's that one time where way back when Kalisto won the title on Raw randomly. Remember that?
Yeah.
But then Alberto Del Rio won back on SmackDown. But literally that night, I saw like 3 different people tweet out, and it's like, well, I really have no reason to watch this anymore. You know?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the actual splitting of the brands?
Well,
She keeps looking at her fantasy draft and seeing.
I obviously wasn't watching wrestling the last time that the brand split happened, so I don't really have any idea of what it looked like and whatnot.
You were near the tail end.
I've seen
Awful.
some clips of it where it was like the roster picking and whatnot, and I've seen like a few of those highlights, and I have because I started watching 2012. That's basically when they started to go back together, from my understanding, or was it 2011?
It was around that. Well, they were technically still, and this is what we'll get into, but some people worry, especially myself, that it was technically Raw and SmackDown. And it had different superstars, but pretty much everybody was appearing on both shows.
Okay.
You know, to lay it out, the original draft in 2002, I think it was 2000. No, yeah, it was 2000. Yeah, it was 2002, and they did the actual draft. It was like Vince on one show and Rick on another, and they picked from the rosters, and then they are split. And you literally didn't have those people even face each other, see each other, and they only had, what was it? They had SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania were their combined pay-per-views. And that was the only time you'd see them together and maybe face off. Literally, the WrestleMania, they used to have 1 or 2 matches of Raw versus SmackDown because it was a big deal. They would never even touch that. But when you started watching, it was just everybody was they're on when you started watching Sheamus with SmackDown, but you saw him on Raw every single week, you know?
When I started watching, Sheamus was a joke.
Well, that's what I mean. But he was still technically on SmackDown, but he was still on Raw, and you didn't watch you'd watch SmackDown if I was watching it, but you didn't see it that often, you know?
Yeah. So I guess what I think is, I don't know how well it's going to work, because obviously you're going to lose some audience one way or another, because not everybody's going to watch both live. So you're going to lose some audience, which means, is SmackDown still the B show? And is that where you kind of put your less big superstars? But if you want to make it a big deal, you got to put some there.
Yeah.
I guess something that I a pro about it that I do think is a good thing is that I'm not going to see the same match on Raw for every.
Hopefully.
Well, I guess hopefully I'm not going to see the same match over and over and over. It's what was the last one that you were aren't you going to watch this? And I was like, no, I watched it last week.
Well, I know our favorite one for a while was Dudley's versus
Wyatt's.
Wyatt's.
Dudley's versus Wyatt's, and we even went to went to a live show in our hometown, and guess what it was? Dudley's versus Wyatt's, and it was just. It's we've
seen it 4 times on TV.
Seen this every pay-per-view and every Monday Night Raw, and so.
And it all depends. Those weren't awful matches, but they're nothing that I was writing home about. You know, I obviously have not said this on cast, but something like AJ versus Roman, that's a match that, you know what, I could keep watching week if they're doing all this great new stuff. But what Dudley's Wyatt, it was fine, but it was nothing man, that was such a good match. You know, I don't even remember. It was just, I just remember the Dudleys just kept losing. And that's the other thing, too.
And they kept saying get the tables, but they never got the tables.
Yeah. And then when they got the tables, they lost.
Yeah.
I guess that's, the biggest thing of, I've always been, not always against it, but when I grew up really, really young, I grew up with the young roster, and then mid, teen child, that's when they did the brand split. And I actually really liked the brand split when they did it, but that's my biggest pro or my biggest con of if it happens, and I think you already said it's all about how they do it. And it's so let's say, we'll talk later, but let's say, okay, so not Roman's bags down because he has the title. So Sami Zayn, let's say he's on Raw. I don't want to see him on SmackDown ever. Even though that would be cool, I don't want to see him on SmackDown ever, as far as even just a business perspective. Because when him and let's say somebody from SmackDown verse, I want that to seem special. I don't want Raw guys appearing on SmackDown or vice versa, because then it's why did we even do a brand split?
I was going to say, the only way I'd want to see it happen is if it's leading up to a storyline where they are going to clash, but I don't want to see.
They used to do Raw versus SmackDown matches, and that's where I'm oh, it's fine, but I just don't want when you start watching, that's randomly just oh, Sheamus is here from SmackDown. It's why? It's just because he is, and it's well.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't really want to see that. I don't really care about that.
Yeah, and one thing you and my sister, you guys were a fan of that's why way back you guys come on the brand as Swiss because you won another title, like world title or more titles. Do you still feel that way as you smile?
Oh yeah, I sorry I hit the table. I do still feel that way only because it gets a little boring just seeing one guy at the top, and then it's like, what else do you got? IC and a U.S. title, and like.
That's 3 titles, though.
Yeah,
see,
but
and I grew up with. I'm
not a big fan of seeing the U.S. title on Kalisto. Like, I get good for Kalisto, awesome. He is fun to watch, but it's like I'm not a Kalisto fan, so it's like then there's all these guys that I am a fan of. So like AJ Styles that comes in, Cesaro, like. Luke Harper, even like.
Well, I don't think he's gonna be world champion.
He's not going to be getting anything, but I mean like. That means all of those guys who are really good and have potential to be kind of like top tier guys don't even get in the fight for the fucking can't even think of the name right now.
Main event of the World WWE title?
Yeah, WWE title. They don't even get in the running for that because you're no matter what, for the next year, 2 years, 5 years, Roman Reigns is going to be in the top, and they're only going to put it on like maybe 5 guys. It's going to just go back and forth between like who do you got? You got Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. John Cena's name's in there.
Cena.
They might even throw it back on Brock. Like,
or when he comes, Brock for sure he could always be a contender. But no, I agree with you because that's one thing it does seem good for just the guys. It's more opportunity that way. Like that's where with this draft I'm very divided because there's stuff that I don't really like, but that's where it's like I do like that, and you will get maybe someone like a Cesaro. It's really possible. Like we'll talk about later, but him or like Ambrose. I think Ambrose is the strongest contender. I don't want to jump forward, but I think he will go to SmackDown. I think he's the strongest contender. You will put that main title on him. If there is another main title, you'll put that on him. And that's what I like, but then at the same time, you might get people that are lower tier having the main title. Like, it's not a shot at him, but when this was happening, like, when you started watching wrestling, Miz was nobody. He was a guy that hosted Miz TV and wrestled every once in a while. And me and Mackenzie had to tell you, this guy main event WrestleMania and was WWE champion, and he beat John Cena. And that's one of these things, the same with Jack Swagger. Jack Swagger is a world heavyweight champion. Yeah. And that's a thing of, it does create opportunities, but then do we also get lower tier guys getting run with titles, these like really forced pushes because, it's just a world title, or it's just SmackDown, Like, and that's the thing, it's all about how they do it, but my worry is they'll do it for 6 months really well, and then they'll resort to SmackDown being just this nothing show and being the show where a Jack Swagger, or if Ryback was around, a Ryback would be world champion,
No, and I can understand your concerns there. You, don't want to see basically the same thing happen as to happen last time. But at the same time, I do want to see some of those, I can't really say younger because some of them are older, but just some of those up-and-comer guys, newer talent, the guys who don't really get a shot at the WWE title. I want to see them get a shot at something because let's look at what just happened with Wade Barrett. Let's look at what just happened with Cody Rhodes. What did they do? They packed up and left because they're not getting any shots, and it's like this is the exact reason why It's cool to combine those 2 titles and make the one title, but I've never been a fan of it because it's like you almost need that second tier title because what else are those guys going to do for they weren't doing anything because that title was gone. If that title was still there, I guarantee you Cody Rhodes would have been in the running for it at some point. Wade Barrett definitely would because he had just had it, didn't he? Right before they combined
never
them.
The world title though.
No, not the heavyweight.
No, never the world title, no. Same with Cody, he never got that.
No, I know, but I feel like they would have been in the running because these other guys, obviously Seth Rollins still would have been at the top with Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Those 3 could have kind of duked it out when you still got room for Brock Lesnar. And it was cool that John Cena stepped down to U.S. title. It'd be great if he did it again because he's John Cena, he doesn't need it. But I do think that these up-and-coming guys, especially with, we watch NXT, all these guys in NXT, there's so much talent down there that it's just, what's going to happen when they do come up here? Is it just going to be wasted because they're not going to have anything to do with them? Look at Tyler Breeze.
That's the one thing where I thought, for him, the only thing that I'll take umbrage to what you said, I don't want the world title to be a second-year title. I want that to be on the same level as the WWE. This is my thing, and once again, going back to what I'm scared of is anytime a SmackDown guy will win the Royal Rumble, Sheamus won the Royal Rumble. You weren't watching when this happened. Sheamus won the Royal Rumble. It was for the SmackDown title. And what happened? It was the opening match of WrestleMania. And that's my thing of I worry that same thing will start. But and I guess it's all just worrisome of will like history repeating itself. But if someone, and that's why I've always liked the main title being one title. I like that there's one title, and the guy that wins the Royal Rumble, he gets the main event at WrestleMania, and he's going for the one title that everyone wants. And that's my fear with the world title. If it comes back for a while, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's just as important. But then it will be. For 2 years in a row, it was the opening match at WrestleMania, and that should and that clearly makes it not even like it is a second tier, but almost a third tier. Like it feels like oh, we're never gonna give. I want them to make it as good as the WWE title and be valuable and be like, oh, we'll put it on a Cody Rhodes because he deserves it, not because hey, we'll never give him the really important belt. We'll give him this like hand-me-down belt. I want the title of the world title to be super important just as much as the WWE title.
I think in that would be lovely. Yeah. I really do. But you also have to think about it. As much as it is a brand split, WWE is one brand. So there's no matter what, there's going to be a tier system, especially with their titles. Like, you can't have, like, two equal things when there's only one brand, because somewhere along the line someone's going to fall to the wayside. You can't have two main events at WrestleMania. As much as you say you can, something's always going to go on last and something's going to put on a better show.
But I'm just hoping that it is, if they feel, okay, we're going to SmackDown, this SmackDown match is better for WrestleMania main event, that, okay, this should go up there. Like, that's my thing. I don't want it.
That'd be great, but that's not going to happen.
But that's where I worry, I wonder, because the first year of the draft, the first few years of the draft happened. SmackDown main evented WrestleMania. You definitely were not watching, but it was Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, WWE title, SmackDown, and they main evented WrestleMania. So like it happened, but then it did resort into, okay, whatever Raw's doing, and SmackDown would get every once in a while. I want it to be almost like what NXT is down there, of when Bayley and Sasha were having these great matches. It's like, this match is so good, it should be the main event. That's what I want the world title to do. I don't want to just be, making the world event but I want it to be the best storyline or match. I just worry, even if something, and a good example is, one year Undertaker won the Royal Rumble, Batista was the champ, they go to WrestleMania and have this like killer match, but they're in the middle of the card. And it was no reason, like Undertaker's a huge name, Batista's a huge name, Royal Rumble, but it was just because it had that SmackDown aura of it, like, oh, we'll make sure it's not main event, and that's what I worry, like, I know that, but I feel like from a business-wise, it would be great to make SmackDown be as big, because I feel like that's some of the reason why we don't watch wrestling, my sister, or not wrestling, SmackDown, and other people, because there is this bad aura around SmackDown of the B kind of bitch show, and I want them to shake that, and I feel like they can, but it's just a question of will they, they're smart enough people to do it. It's just a question of,
it also has to do with ratings, right? Like,
yeah,
whichever show's getting you those ratings, that's the show you're going to promote.
Yeah.
And
and one thing back in the day, SmackDown was beating Raw.
Definitely. And one thing that SmackDown has against it, though, is that Raw is every Monday. It's been that way for God knows how long, and
23 years.
Well, what was it, the 1200th episode or something?
23 years, yeah.
So it's been that way for how long? And now SmackDown was on, what was it? Wasn't it Fridays?
It started
2 years ago?
Yeah, Friday.
Then it was Fridays 2 years ago. Then
Fridays,
it's Thursdays. Now it's
Thursday.
Tuesdays, and so it's like it jumps around. So viewers, those casual viewers, they're like, oh, what's on? There's nothing on TV tonight on a Thursday. Oh, SmackDown's on. Let's watch that. You don't get them anymore because maybe they have soccer practice on a Tuesday, so they can't be there. Maybe they work Tuesday nights, right? So it's like, yeah, you might pick up some other casual viewers who are like, oh, SmackDown's on Tuesday, that works for my schedule. But you're going to lose a lot of those people who did watch SmackDown on a Thursday or just don't have the time to sit down and watch a 3-hour live show again.
It's only going to be 2 hours SmackDown.
Still.
And that's the other thing. Do you feel like, with being only like having half the people, Raw's still going to be 3 hours? Do you feel like that's going to hurt it? Like, because they're 3 hours now and they have all these people. That's been a concern of some people. I don't think so for me, because it's like, as long as you write good enough storylines, the 3 hours shouldn't matter. But some people are worried that, you take half the roster away, 3 hours is going to seem like it's going to drag.
I don't think so at all, because there's so many people that you don't see for like weeks at a time.
Crews,
so
that we just saw on Monday. We recorded this will come out at the 26th of May, so it was the Raw before when he just lost to Jericho. If you're listening, it's gonna come out tomorrow.
Yeah. So
it's but they debuted him. He had a couple matches, then he was just gone for no reason. And sorry, I don't count like main event superstars as being on TV because not many people watch that.
No.
You know, so it's like, or at least the mainstream audience does
but
it.
like, yeah, there's so much. I think there's a lot more potential to do more matches with guys that you don't get to see very often. Like Tyler Breeze, we don't see him every week. Kalisto, we don't see him every week, and he's holding.
Not anymore. Now
I guess he's not.
But
yeah.
when he wasn't, he was on Superstars, the
title,
main event, and it's like we went from John Cena main eventing Raws with the U.S. title to Kalisto not even being on.
Yeah,
Raw.
He wasn't even on it, and he didn't even get to be on the pay-per-views. He was just put on the pre-show, and so it's like we'll see that more, and maybe it'll make it more exciting. And maybe you remember when they wanted to do that whole thing with have all the most lucha masks at wasn't it WrestleMania, but it didn't happen. That was like 2 years ago, right? It didn't happen though, but like because nobody cared anymore.
Well, no, they didn't even do the match though. That was the thing, they wanted to break the record, but they never did the match.
Yeah, but so now build it up, do a match like that, get an event where you can get kids back involved in luchas. Because I'm sorry, I don't know the last time I actually saw a kid wearing a luchador mask. When we've been to quite a few live events this year. I know we saw a couple when we were in Dallas, but that's a bit of a different story.
My nephew's favorite wrestler, Sin Cara.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think they're going to Ray back anytime. Well, this is what I was going to ask you, because you brought up a little bit and transition into pay-per-views. What do you think's going to happen with those? Do you think they may go back to the old system of the classic 4, and then they might do a Raw, SmackDown, or you feel like they'll all be Raw and SmackDown? Because I feel like with the network, they kind of have the luxury of doing whatever they want, right?
Oh, yeah, they can do whatever they want. I think no matter what, with the network, people are going to be watching, so it's not like somebody's like, oh, it's a Raw pay-per-view, I'm not watching. Oh, it's a SmackDown pay-per-view, I'm not watching. Yeah, it's only $9.99, right? So
$11.99 in Canada.
Yeah, $11.99 in Canada. So I don't think they're really losing anything that way, regardless of how they do it.
Is that something that interests you as a viewer, to have exclusive? Would you rather all pay-per-views
I'd have to see. We'll have to wait and see once the rosters get decided, because basically if SmackDown gets drafted and it's like I have no favorite guys on it, like none of the guys I like are on it, or women that I like are on it for that matter, like why would I watch a whole pay-per-view of people that I don't care about?
Yeah. Well, I want them to try it and then see, because the thing is, we talked about, with SmackDown, Raw could open up more matches, but then that's why I would worry if they did every pay-per-view combined, that matches or storylines you might be interested would get bumped because they're trying to fit Raw and SmackDown at the same time. And plus, having those 4 pay-per-views like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Rumble, I feel like that would bring a specialty to it. Like, it would make the pay-per-views feel a lot more special again. That's what I always loved when I was younger, was when SummerSlam was coming out. That was the first time you see Raw and SmackDown, the poster. And even though they were in a verse one up, there was this vibe of really something special. You know, like, they did it way before, but if you watch Marvel movies, you have your solo adventures, right, with like an Iron Man movie or a Thor movie or Captain America movie, but then there's an Avengers movie, or there's a Civil War movie, or there's going to be like Thor 3 coming up that has a Hulk and Thor. And that's why I always thought about those old, like the 4 like blockbuster pay-per-views. It felt like that, even if they didn't really combine the other brands as far as versing each other and whatnot, but it felt like a big event. And that's what I really liked about it. So I'm not I would rather them go that route and rather them do a Raw, SmackDown, than a SummerSlam. I think it would be a nice thing to freshen up. And like we said, definitely talents. Like we keep bringing up, but for me the biggest one is Tyler Breeze. I feel like, because I said when we were watching NXT, and many people would agree, like he has all the tools. He's a great wrestler. He has a great character. He has I think a great mind for the business. He's a great worker, but he's just doing nothing. Like he's teaming Fandango right now. No disrespect to Fandango, but Tyler Breeze I think could be a lot higher. I
agree with you in saying, like, even just the word is like a good word to describe it, is keeping it fresh. Like,
yeah.
It's not going to be stale, because there's, how many times do we watch, like, obviously we watch all the pay-per-views, but how many times does it just feel like we're watching the same match for 3 months in a row? And I totally understand the argument of building up storyline, but when I'm literally watching the same match with, like, almost the same outcome, except one guy's winning over the other.
Sometimes
It's
that's
like,
up to the talent as well. They got to put together a better match, or like
yes,
something
I
different.
agree with that, but I also hope that gives them a chance to build storyline better, because we might not be seeing like a SmackDown pay-per-view every single month. It might be every second month or every third month, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so then there's more. Hopefully, there's more chance to build up the storyline in between, and like, I don't know.
I guess we move into. Well, I'll ask you this before we move on. Do you feel like, though, this is one thing I've worried with, half roster there, half the roster there, maybe some NXT people come up, don't you feel like you might see some of the same matches more because it's a smaller roster, though? Potentially smaller roster?
Possibly, but like I said before, I think you get the chance to highlight guys that weren't getting highlighted.
Yeah.
And, like, this is exactly the reason why Wade Barrett left. This is exactly the reason why Cody Rhodes left. There are guys who can be on their own, but what do? They just throw them into random tag teams that don't make sense. Like,
Or Stardust that he doesn't really
Stardust,
want to be.
right? Like, or a character they don't want to be. And, like, I get it. Stardust or Cody Rhodes was good friends with the guys in the Ascension, but, like, putting them together was why.
Well, yeah, it was a good
it.
idea, but they just didn't do anything with them.
It wasn't, though, because their two characters did not mesh at all, and it was...
Well, did they not mesh, though, because we didn't even get a chance for them to mesh?
And
they
maybe,
went to help Cody Rhodes, like, to me...
But they gave themselves even a little team name, but then it was like that lasted for 1 week, and then they didn't run with it, and obviously that was not any of the talent's fault. That would have been the writer's fault, and whoever decided who goes on screen, and then obviously whatever happened with Connor or Victor, whoever it was.
Yeah,
but
because see, when they put that together, I was really interested. I wanted to see that. I thought
you
that
were,
could be...
but I wasn't.
I know, but I feel like with their personalities, that if you had gave Cody Rhodes a chance for a stable, something cool could have happened. But we won't know now.
No, we won't know now.
I'll bring up one thing. We'll move to titles now. This has to do a little bit. You talk about seeing certain women on show. With I'm trying to wonder which way to start. With the women's, do you think we'll get 2 women's title, or do you think the women are going to be exclusive to one brand?
I hope they're not exclusive to one brand. I think that would be really strange and really unbalanced. I also think that would be extremely unfair. I understand that there is not as many women wrestlers as there are men wrestlers. However, I do think a lot of their talent outweighs a lot of the male wrestlers. So I do think having them exclusively on one brand is a little bit of a cop-out.
Do you feel...
I would love to have 2 women's titles, but then again, like I said, there's not as many of them. So how do they make that work? Especially when we no longer have the Bellas. We no longer have AJ Lee. We no longer have... who was I thinking?
Sorry,
I was thinking Paige, but she just hasn't really been doing too much. But no, I thought she was injured right now, but she's not.
See, that's my counter thing of there aren't enough women yet. There could be in a few years, but there aren't enough women. That's why even some people have been like, oh yeah, a women's tag team title. I'd love to see it, but there's not enough yet. Maybe, once again, we don't know what they'll do with NXT. I'm kind of the different angle. The only thing that would be kind of weird, it'd be weird, let's say if Raw had them and SmackDown didn't have any women wrestling, even on the live events. Especially live events, they probably want women to break up the action and like have just a change of pace. But I feel I would be kind of fine with it being exclusive to Raw, because one, Raw is obviously still going to be the flagship show, so they kind of get that shine. And plus you might see more women's matches, because with the roster being like half potentially sliced and divided, I just feel like if you could either put women on SmackDown and then there's no title and then they're just doing nothing, they're just wrestling random matches, and that could happen, or you do 2 titles, and I think that's too much. So I think, to me, the best thing is to stick with the women's title on Raw and do it exclusively. And then some people brought this up, and I've brought this up to you many times, and someone brought this to my attention. I think it's a good idea. The Cruiserweight Classic's going to happen this summer, and I've been saying for a long time that I really want the Cruiserweight title back.
No, I agree.
And I feel like if you had... In the old days, in the brand extension, that's what happened, was the women's title was exclusive to Raw, and they had Cruiserweights on SmackDown. I wonder if they may do that again. Because I don't think they're going to put the women on SmackDown. I think if they were to choose, it would be Raw. That's their big show.
I was going to say, I guess, like, thinking about it, too, I don't necessarily want the women split up because I don't want it to water them down again. I don't want the women to become the bathroom break because they deserve so much more than that, especially with all this talent coming up. And
that's why we're on SmackDown. If there's no title for them to wrestle to, people will be like, why do I care?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And ever since I started watching wrestling, albeit that 2012 TLC, I think the very first match of the show, probably the very first match, or maybe not the very first match of the show, but one
match was the females.
They're all dressed in their little Santa nighties and out in the ring, and it's like, that's not what I want to see. I want to see the women be strong and powerful. And I was watching right at a time when AJ Lee really started to come out of her shell, and like, I loved AJ Lee, and even like, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but even when I first started watching, you were like, "Oh, women's wrestling, it's just a bathroom break." It's just a bathroom break.
It was. No, like that.
Totally,
and I feel like many other people felt that way.
That was right as I started watching was the beginning of when that kind of started to change, and it obviously with these talented young women from NXT coming up, that's changed a lot. Really quickly, I guess the change has really started to happen.
And just what's happening in the world too, with just so many powerful women, females with the Williams sisters, and then
they've been around for how long?
But really, though, this past few years, but I've seen them more on posters. I've seen them more on commercials. That's what I mean. There's been a movement all around. Like they were big, but I've seen them in Gatorade commercials. Seen them in this, and the other big one obviously is Ronda Rousey, and that's the bad thing with WWE. They're more kind of capitalizing on maybe other success, but they were, and it's surprisingly how quickly it has come, but it's about time, because they were the bathroom break, and you could ask other people, because it was this thing of, not only did the writers not care, lots of the girls that were there did not care, and that's the thing. The Bellas became a whole different beast now, but back in the day, the original run, they were just models that were just twins, and they could kind of wrestle, and that's what it was in those era. Just at the tail end of your era was a bunch of models who, as long as you could do this, this, and this, you look good, that's all you needed,
Well, definitely, and I don't obviously want to jump too much into it, like, whatever, but there has been an entire shift in the world, especially, I guess I would say, in North America, and seeing women be equal to men, being powerful, being strong, independent women. We don't need to rely on men for things. It's nice to see, and it's especially nice to see, especially in athletics. I've been saying it for a very, very long time. I've been a huge fan of Canadian women's soccer. It's amazing to watch. I recommend anybody, if you're going to watch any professional soccer or whatever football, watch the Canadian women's team. They are amazing. And
what if you don't want to watch any soccer or football?
I recommend watching it because you will see women who will outplay the men any day of the week. And I've been saying it for years and years. Everyone's like, even just watching the Olympics. Like, you're going to watch the Summer Olympics this year. You're going to see the Canadian women play and watch them, because the difference between the Canadian women and the Canadian men is substantial. I don't even know if the Canadian men's team is going this year, if we even have one anymore. But I do know we have a Canadian women's team, and I do know they're phenomenal. And it's the difference in watching those women play the sport versus watching any men's team, I guess, play the sport is they're tough and they don't put up with crap. Whereas the men, they're falling down, they're tripping, and it's like, I've been a big supporter of it. It's nice to see other sports, including wrestling, which, yes, it is scripted. It's nice to see them finally joining in and being like, hey, women are here. They're just as tough as men in their own right. Yeah. So I'm very happy to see it. And so I don't want to see, if they do split up, I don't want to see maybe Charlotte, Sasha, Becky, Paige, whoever, kind of like the girls known for wrestling on one show, and then we've got like Lana and I don't even know who's very modelly right now, but
we kind of got rid of, like, Cameron was around.
I guess Cameron was around. Cameron got rid of Cameron. I guess Maurice, like, kind of, yeah. I don't want to see just those girls, or Summer Rae, there we go, even though she does sort of wrestle. I don't want to see those girls be going down and just running one show and just becoming the bathroom break again. I want to see those women improve. Like, maybe they're not the best wrestlers, but like Summer Rae's improved a lot since she started. She started out being Fandango's dance partner, and look at how far she's come. She's been in matches and she's held her own for the most part. Yeah. So I don't want to see them become the models again on one show, the managers, and there's definitely a place for that. There really is, because not everybody's gonna wrestle. Like, I can tell you right now, I'm not somebody that's ever gonna do that.
Yeah.
Props to them for even taking a bump. Like, I get flicked and I don't like it. So I
True.
so much respect to what they do, but I don't want to see them just become models again.
And there's a place for both. I think that's a happy point of finding a place for valets or managers,
but
and then the female wrestlers.
Yeah, but
It
I
should be
don't
one
want
or
it
the
to be
other.
all on one show and all on the other,
That's
which I
fair.
think what would happen, because you can't have Charlotte on a show with all like
Lower tier talent,
yeah, with the
and then-
lower tier talent, and then have all the other talent on the other show.
Yeah.
It's got to be a balance. So if they are all in one show, at least they're all in one place. And obviously, if there are managers or whatever, they can still be there, but maybe they just don't wrestle.
Well, this is what I'll bring to you about the title, because some people wonder if it'll happen. And I think, obviously, the Intercontinental and U.S. title will go to one show or the other. That'll be pretty easy. Now, some people have said, obviously, there's either split. You can do, like, W title, World title, Women's title, another Women's title, and then, like, a W tag team or World tag team. Would you rather them split all the titles and have a champion for each brand? Or some people have thought about, what if Roman was the main champ and went to both shows? What if Charlotte was the champ and was on both shows? And the New Day tag team champions both shows. So, like, you being the champion, other than the Intercontinental and U.S., you being, like, a cross-brand champion, you'd go to both. And then, like, Roman, who is their, like, right now flagship guy, he could literally be on every pay-per-view if they want, right? Because it's like, okay, Raw, the Raw number one contender gets a shot at Roman. And then on SmackDown, the number one gets that. Would you like that idea with any titles, all the titles? Would you rather just be split? Like, in your scenario, what do you want to see with the titles July 19th when this happens? Like, with the tag titles, women, like, what would be your, what, like, if you're wanting to see, like, what would make you happy as a viewer, what would you want to see?
I do think I'd like to see them split. I think it'd be a little odd to see them go back and forth, especially for storyline purposes.
Like,
because
all three
then,
titles to clarify? Like, world, tag,
Yeah.
and women. Okay.
Yeah. So I'd rather see them on... I guess those ones, it's a little difficult, hey? So
I think the women, obviously, that could be its one brand, but, like, tag team, you couldn't have just, like, tag team wrestling
No.
on Smack. Like,
No,
well, I
I
guess
agree.
they could if they wanted
You
to be
could.
ballsy. They could if they
But-
wanted to be ballsy and just say, only tag teams are on SmackDown. Like,
Yeah.
that could be something unique.
that could be interesting too. I
'Cause
just
then
think
I
it's
worry-
a little difficult if you have champions crossing from show to show, because then it's like, hey, he's the number one contender over here and he's the number one contender over here, but we don't have a pay-per-view where they're joined up for another 3 months. And so it's like, well,
Stalling and...
who gets what, and what happens if New Day loses to Enzo and Cass on Raw and Enzo and Cass become champions, but these guys were number one contenders. Do we have to start all over again?
Well, that's,
on
I mean,
SmackDown,
but on
do we
SmackDown,
have-
maybe they get the shot. If they were doing the SmackDown exclusive pay-per-views, that
But
was
then
my idea.
does that mean like every combined pay-per-view it's like a triple threat match? Because that's kind of gets a little old.
I wouldn't
right?
say
Like-
they have to do everyone, but maybe if the opportunity presented itself, like you said, in a situation like they're like, oh, we got two number one contenders, but if it didn't, you could just do like whoever is the next like line next for the show. Like it would be. I see what you mean. Like it could get a little difficult.
It could get a little difficult, but it goes, I guess, each way has its pros and cons, because it can get a little difficult if you
Have too many
give
titles.
two separate tag team champions, right? So you have one like tag team champions on Raw, you have tag team champions on SmackDown. Like, I guess it could make for some interesting matches to have them both throw up the titles in like a combined pay-per-view and see what happens, but then you like have to have people coming back from SmackDown saying wanting a title with the SmackDown one, but it's on Raw and you have to wait.
Well,
and
and my
do
worry too is
crossover
same as
and-
the women, as tag team wrestling has just started to like get really good again, and you can kind of feel it's very similar to that vibe that women were having last year, where they felt like, oh, this roster, the storylines of the wrestling for the women are getting better. Tag team, it seems like is more attention to it, but I worry if they did a title on Raw, title on SmackDown, that let's say there's 10 tag teams right now. That's 5 and 5 for each brand.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be a lot of the same one. So I feel like they're almost going to they will do the champions going back and forth. Or maybe they will do exclusivity, because you still have tag team matches on Raw. You're still gonna have like the main
they're
event is
just not
AJ
going
and
to be
Cena for a title and everything.
Totally, it's just not going to be for the tag team titles.
Yeah, and then
Which-
because that would kind of be if they don't bring up a title like the Cruiserweight title, they could do just the tag team titles on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the only one that's for sure going to get split is the main title. As much as like I said, I like just being one title. I like there being the guy, but obviously I feel like just to sustain even house shows, you got to have that main like champion. You know, like if Roman's on technically a Raw superstar and has the title, even though it's going back and forth brands, you won't be able to be at both live events. So you'd kind of feel like if you're at SmackDown, you're missing out because you're missing the main title. They could be ballsy and try to make the IC title that, but they probably won't because it's tough because they'd always be that looming of there's still the WWE title, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see what they do with the titles.
Oh, definitely. I think there's a lot of ways it could go, and there's pros and cons to each one, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see how it goes, because we can speculate, but at the end of the day, they could do something completely different from what we've thought, and we can hate it, or we can love it, or we can just put up with it, or whatever.
Well, we all speculated, but I seriously did not think the split was coming after WrestleMania for a while, especially with the Shane thing. Especially, I don't even think they knew it was coming, because it's really clunky too. These are the last two things we'll talk about before we get to the actual roster. Is one, who do you have run the show? And I would think maybe Shane, because you get a reason to watch SmackDown Shane, and maybe he's not always going to be on TV, so he could be checking every once in a while or have a GM, but why didn't they do this whole... It's really... They seem like... Okay, so they did Undertaker and Shane, and then they did this awkward thing where Shane lost, and Shane, he started running Raw for a few weeks, and they explained it a bit. They said, kind of like Vince, he won up Vince, right? So, Vince was saying, let's see if you can run it. But then they did this storyline where they seemed like they're going to set up a power struggle between Stephanie and Shane. And I was really excited to see that storyline of, okay, they're going to get along, and then there's going to be a big breakup, and then they're going to have, this match for the control of the company, maybe, Survivor Series or something. But then it's this, they set themselves up for this big power struggle storyline, but then it's probably just going to transform into one's on Raw and one's on the SmackDown. And you can get this whole, they'll have probably, a Raw versus SmackDown match a year or something like that, and you'll get this my brand's better, but it's there's not much of a power struggle because they're not working together.
Yeah.
I just feel like they didn't really even know about what they were doing with that.
Well, it almost seems like this is something that's probably been it gets brought up every couple of months, or how can we revamp our brand? What can we do to get viewers? Yeah. What can we do to get our viewers? And somebody probably throws out, we could do a brand split. And I'm sure it's something that's probably been on a whiteboard in an office for 6 months, a year, 2 years, sitting there.
It might have even been even 6 months after the brands are together. I feel like it was even brought up of
probably.
Should we break the brands up again?
Well, probably exactly that. But then, so it's probably been sitting there, and then all of a sudden you got Wade Barrett who leaves because he's not happy with his position and how he's being utilized. And then you have Cody Rhodes, who is the son of Dusty Rhodes, who is somebody who they obviously respect. So you get him, and he goes on and I'm sure what he put on blast, in his whole little goodbye, farewell speech, is probably something he's spoken to them about, and I'm sure, well, I'm not sure, but I would hope that people who feel they're being underutilized have gone and tried to make their voices heard. Obviously, we've heard in different podcasts that doesn't necessarily happen, and that they want people to be saying more, but who knows? Sometimes it takes the littlest thing to be a wake-up call and kind of be like...
I don't think so. Because those people are so minuscule in the ladder. Just the way WWE works, I feel like this was already planned. Because the reason I think that is because they would have sat Cody and I'm like, you know what? We're thinking about doing a brand split. Hang on a couple more months and maybe we're going to use you there. And that's why I feel like it's just okay, bye, Cody. Guess what? We're going to do a brand split. I feel like they don't care enough to be... I feel like this is purely... Hey, we got to make SmackDown a big brand. We got to freshen up the product. We got to do this whole, we got to bring something to the new era slogan, right? And make it seem like it's actual new era. So I feel like it really has not much to do with the talent.
I don't necessarily, the reason I'm saying that, though, is because when you have that many people saying it over and over and leaving your company, yes, it might be one small, minuscule person, but when that one small, minuscule person becomes person after person after person after person, it adds up. They're losing people and as minuscule as they may be, as small as you may think they may be to them, but that's still people, that's still superstars, that's still money in their pockets that they are losing, and you don't want to lose that many people. So yes, maybe that's not the case, but it could have been like a wake-up call, being like, well shit, we've got to do something because these people feel underutilized.
I would disagree, because there's always someone waiting to take that spot. There's always a Zack Ryder in there. There's always a Tyler Breeze, but there's always the second Cody Rhodes goes. But then there's NXT. They're gonna go out and get they're gonna get as many talent from like Ring of Honor, New Japan now because it's brands. But like I feel like all these people are replaceable. There's even if John Cena were to leave tomorrow.
I'm not saying they're not replaceable, but it's still a blow. It's still a blow to lose people like that.
Is it though?
Does
anyone, other than like the hardcore wrestling fan community, do they care that Stardust or Wade Barrett's gone?
I don't care about Stardust, but I care about Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, no, I care about them.
I have been drafting Cody Rhodes in our fantasy draft for the past 3 years, and guess what name I write down every time I draft him? Cody Rhodes. Yes, I didn't get him this year.
When Mackenzie drafts him, he goes big curse. But I would just disagree with that, because I just feel like with them, they were barely on TV doing nothing, and it's like that's why if they're on TV and they left, like,
but I think
not
that's
to throw it out there, but it is like a CM Punk when that happened. That is a blow when it's like he's a main event guy and all of a sudden he fucks off. Or Stardust, he hasn't been on TV since like WrestleMania, so it doesn't matter if he's gone.
But I think that's part of the reason why they have to do the brand split is because you do have these guys that aren't being utilized. So why the fuck are you paying them?
Yeah.
Why are you writing them a check?
Somebody for the house shows.
Yeah, but why are you writing them a check if you're not even utilizing them?
How many people did we see on house shows that we never see on Raw? You know, we saw Social Outcast wrestle like a 15-minute match at our house show.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
It was great, but on Raw, what happened? He sort of just got hit with a cake and then he fucked off. Like, that's what I mean. That's why they're there. It's the house shows. It's for superstars and main events, and it's for, hey, Big Show needs to squash somebody before the Rumble.
So when all those people start leaving and you don't, and John Cena's like, I don't want to do the house show this weekend, and Roman Reigns says, I don't want to do the house show this weekend, and Seth Rollins says, I don't want to do the house show. Yeah, but you know what? It happens. When you lose those guys in the middle who are doing all that stuff for you, you've got to find somebody to replace it.
Those guys aren't in the middle. They're at the bottom. Stardust and Wade Barrett, to me, were near. There's like the top. There's the.
I'm sorry, but I will always put freaking like Titus O'Neil, and I will put Fandango beneath Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett.
But they're in the second tier. If there was 5 tiers of like untouchable, top, mid card, lower tier, bottom tier, they're the lower tier. They're not mid card. Mid card is your Miz, your Cesaro, your Sami Zayn,
I would have put both of them on the same level as Miz.
You would have put. But Miz has a title right now.
Yeah,
he's in there as fucking movies. He's with Maurice, who's gonna be on Total Divas.
The Miz's stock, because he's got Maurice.
The Miz's stock is much, much higher than Cody Rhodes or Wade Barrett's. Unfortunately, like the way it is, like, and that's not to take a shot at the Miz, but it's just like our personal likes. Like, I don't think they give 2 fucks that they're gone. I don't think.
No, I know you don't, but I do think it may not have anything to do with it, but I think it shows a lot, and I think that maybe this will help fix some of those problems that have arisen.
But it's too late for those guys.
No, definitely, it's too late. I'm not saying that they would come back, hey, the brand split, I want my job back. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
Not officially released, so
we are hoping and praying still.
That he's released?
I am.
I hope nobody gets released. They should get a job, but maybe he should have said so much stuff on Twitter.
I'm hoping he gets released.
Wow. But yeah, talking about superstars, thinking about who's going to go where, we're looking at our fantasy draft board. So we'll kind of use this as, we got pretty much the most main guys on here, so we can use this as a little guideline. I think the only thing I know 100% of somebody that's staying somewhere is Roman Reigns will stay on Raw. There's no way he's going to go to SmackDown. There's no way.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I guess so.
He's a new guy. He's the flagship. Raw's still going to be the number 1 brand.
I like Roman enough. I'm one of those people, I don't like having him forced down my throat. I think it could be done much more naturally, and they refuse to do it that way.
They've been starting recently.
They've been trying.
Since he had the title.
I wouldn't say they've been starting. They've been trying. It's not necessarily working, because anytime they do... I think
the past month has been working with him not talking too much and not really being good or bad.
Anytime... I don't know. There seems to be certain segments they do that I can just be like, oh... this is not what I want to be seeing at all. So I'm just a little past it at this point. There's so many guys I'd rather see in that spot, and I think they'd be more fun to watch.
But that's discussion for another day. You think he'll be for sure on Raw? Yeah, because that could be a whole separate podcast in itself.
Definitely. Yeah. So I think he'll be on Raw. I just hope that if they don't split titles or whatnot, I just hope that certain guys also get a shot at the title and not just once every 3 months.
Yeah. Well,
right.
If looking at that board, well, actually, I'll ask you one more thing, and then we'll look at the board, and you can get your opinion on that. The other big one is, where do you think Cena goes? Because I've been back and forth all day. I've thought for like 2 hours a day, I'm like, oh, he's for sure staying on Raw because it's a flagship show. But I'm like, man, SmackDown, that would be a huge boost, and that would make it seem important. But I'm like, no, like they wouldn't send him to SmackDown. Like I still haven't decided where I think he would go.
Yeah, I don't really know. He can go either place and fit. Like, he could go, like, with Cena, he can be
anywhere.
He can have the IC title, anywhere. He can have the US title, he can have anything, and it'll work.
Because he's so
Cena.
over, yeah.
Because he's so over, he's Cena, it will work.
So and adults kind of hate him less now.
Oh, yeah.
So it kind of works.
When I first started watching, it was like, oh, he's this guy, again, this guy. But now it's like, oh, I kind of enjoy watching Cena, he's funny, he's...
Do you think Total Divas is helpful with that at all?
No, I think he's horrible on Total Divas.
See,
he comes across as such a prick.
I have not cheered for John.
Sometimes he comes across as a good guy, but then there's times when he just like seems to like not give a shit about Nikki, and it's just like, ugh.
I'll say for the first time since 2005, I don't even know how old I was. That was 10 years ago, so I was like 13. So the first time since 2005 was the last time I cheered for John Cena. I legitimately cheered for him when he came out at WrestleMania. And definitely the U.S. title. I know some people don't like all the U.S. title matches because they found them too much spot fest or too many near finishes. I can see your point. I still like them. They're a fun thing to have on Raw every week. Something to look forward to. You're gonna see something unique, and you're gonna see him wrestle somebody else. We won't get into a whole Cena diatribe. Either way, I agree. He can go anywhere. It's just. Where do you think he goes? If I had to say gut, I'd say he'll stay on Raw.
Yeah,
but I'd kind of like to see him on SmackDown because if they're gonna make SmackDown big, that would be a message of, hey, we're gonna make this brand as big as, because if John Cena's on SmackDown, they're not gonna fuck around and be like, oh, it's the B show, So
I think it really depends on which titles go to which show. Because like he can have anyone, but like say they do only put tag teams on SmackDown, then I don't see there's a point in him being on SmackDown. And no, I don't want to see John Cena in a tag team.
And Neville.
God no. So there's no point him going to SmackDown if they're only going to put tag teams on SmackDown, vice versa. If they're only going to have, say, the WWE title, tag teams and women on Raw, there's no point in him staying on Raw. Mm-hmm. Except for that WWE title, but it's like I'd rather see other guys get a shot, and I'd rather see Cena take the role in the US title or IC title, whatever it may be, or even take on a heavyweight title.
Just keeping track of where we're putting guys, so at the end I can get where we put them. So you're thinking Raw with me as well.
Yeah, I think that he'll stay on Raw, but it will really depend on how they maneuver titles and whatnot. So
now this is from like a kayfabe storyline standpoint. When they did the original draft, they did Vince on one side, Flair on the one side. I imagine that will actually be a fun Raw or whatever the event is. Like the whole drafting thing will actually be fun because it's gonna be a whole night. It's gonna be like their NFL draft, and that was always fun. The draft, you're gonna be like, oh my god, what they picking? Like what are they doing? Like that is the one. Like as a short term gain, but it will be a good gain. My question is, how do you, from a storyline standpoint, explain? So let's say they do that. It's not just picking balls. Let's say it's Stephanie on one side, Shane on one side, and it's like, okay, Stephanie goes first, and she goes Roman Reigns. How does Shane, as a person that should be a smart character and whatnot, as a smart businessman, how does he not pick John Cena? That's my only thing of how do they end up on a main roster from, like, obviously not a business, from a storyline standpoint. How do you as another person not pick John Cena?
Like a schoolyard pick or something?
Yeah, like how would you not pick John Cena?
Very, if you're a very, I was going to say, what did they do last time? Draw balls? Did it have names on it or did it have
But that
numbers?
was just to switch brands. Like what happened is they did the first draft way back in the day when it's like, it was the group of people.
Pick?
Yeah, and then the years after that they picked balls, or it'd be random of, oh, we got, let's say Batista, and he's coming to Raw. So it wasn't like, it was just swapping brands, where the original draft was their, like you said, schoolyard pick. And I feel like, how do you not pick Roman Reigns, John Cena as your first two picks? Unless they do something where John Cena pisses them both off, or something. Like, they have to do something before, because I don't want it to be like, oh, Seth picks Roman, and then I love Seth Rollins, but Shane should not pick Seth Rollins, because you'd want to pick Cena if you're going from this thing of he's a smart business guy and he wants to. I guess his idea could be like, oh, I want to make things fresh, but it'll just seem kind of awkward if John Cena's not that number one pick too, because then you'd feel like he's not a number one guy anymore, you know?
Yeah. So, I see what you're saying there. Because who else would really like? Obviously,
Rollins
there's people I would pick. Think. Rollins would
from
be
like
that
a storyline
pick,
standpoint. Because Ambrose, I wouldn't pick. He's never won a title. Like from a storyline standpoint,
totally.
He never won a title. I guess the only other one is Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
that could make sense. But then once again, Brock. We'll talk about Brock right now. I guess he's not going to SmackDown.
It'll look good too, depending on how they're feuding. So it's like if Seth and Roman are still feuding at this point, obviously take them 1-2 or whatever, one for the first round, and then the second round you could have somebody like John Cena and Brock Lesnar each go to a different side, and that could be how you get John Cena and Roman Reigns on a team. Or like, who knows, maybe they'll throw in some kabuki way of like somebody, they have like a certain golden ball or something, and it's like that person gets to decide which team they go to.
Or like the Raw team won a match, or like, let's say Steph and Shane pick teams, and if they win, they get first 2 draft picks. So it's like, I pick Roman and John Cena, and then you go. Yeah, but then even then, I find it unbelievable if Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar all end up on the same brand. From a storyline standpoint, because one of them should get that other person. So that's why I thought, Brock Lesnar, but no, Brock's not going to SmackDown. Brock's the other one I'd say is a lock. There's no way they're going to send him to SmackDown. For the amount of times he's around, he'll be on Raw. Yeah. So it's a question of, like, what... And I don't want to see it randomized, because that's lame. I want it to be, like, an actual NFL draft, or, like, the first draft. Like, because that would make it exciting. Randomized, then it's just like, okay, it's just somehow randomly Brock, Roman, and John Cena end up on the same brand. But, so we think... I'll write down Brock, because I think that's a full-on one. Now, if you had to pick... Who do you think is going to be SmackDown's guy?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it really is going to depend on who is really... Like, obviously, if Roman stays on Raw, who's going to be on... I don't know. It's so hard to say. Like, does it end up being Seth Rollins?
I think Roman's on Raw for sure. I literally don't think... I would bet everything I own.
It could honestly be AJ Styles.
Oh, I think AJ's there, but I don't think he's the face of the brand. I think going with my pick... I think the only reason I'd say not right away is because he hasn't even been in WWE for a year. I could see him being like the WrestleMania SmackDown main event, but I feel like... I don't know if they want to put a world title on him right away. I said it earlier, but I feel like Ambrose is the best pick.
What about Randy Orton when he comes back? Because at least you kind of got like that guy who's been around. He's kind of like the senior, the senior.
But he can't be the face of it. He can be like the Cena. Well,
but he could be, because not necessarily the face, but he can be kind of like.
Who's gonna be their Roman? Is what I'm asking.
I know.
I feel like that's Ambrose. I honestly do. I feel like Ambrose...
I feel like it could be Ambrose. I feel like it could be AJ. And I know you don't think so because he's just in the company brand new, but I do think it could be AJ Styles just because he has been, like, throwing himself out for every match, trying to prove himself. And I know that's not necessarily what's going to get him that spot, but I think that he's working so hard for a reason.
I think he could get it eventually, but I honestly think him and Ambrose will both be on SmackDown. It's just a question of... That's why I'd pick Ambrose first, because I feel like they would trust him more right away. But I'm not saying AJ would never win the title. I think, honestly, Ambrose and AJ will both be on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Those are two big stars for like independent ones, especially if they maybe have a vibe of I'll get to later, if they maybe want to make SmackDown like the new NXT. I feel like that could be a way of doing it. So, Rollins, I feel like he stays on Raw.
I feel like he has to.
Yeah. I feel like he does. I just feel like that's a good
can't
fit.
Picture him anywhere else, as weird as that sounds.
I feel like he goes wherever maybe Steph is leading.
Yeah.
You know, with the women and like the tag teams, we won't really talk about because we can't really judge where they're gonna go, right? Because we don't know if they're splitting the titles or whatnot. I feel like New Day stays on. I feel like if that's what I mean, like if they do all the exclusives on one brand, so we can't really talk about that. I guess they could go over. I guess my one last one that's big. Cesaro and Bray Wyatt. Those are two bigger guys. I feel like Bray Wyatt might go to SmackDown. Who?
I feel like both of them could.
Yeah.
Especially if there is a separate title on SmackDown, then I feel like that's where Cesaro has to go.
Yeah, and Cesaro could actually win the world title.
Oh, definitely. I just feel like he's not going to get, as much as they're going to keep putting him in these matches and he is kind of getting a shot, I don't think he's ever really going to get it, just because there's just bigger personalities.
But I think with the brand split, it could happen.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then I guess the last two for me, the last three, sorry, I'll bring that up, is do they keep Owens and Zayn on the same show just because they have this rivalry, or do they split them up?
I think they split them up.
Yeah. And keep away for a while? And
they can feud whenever it comes to one of those pay-per-views. Exactly. Yeah. And, I think because, honestly, that's going to be a feud that never goes away. Mm-hmm. Ever. They might be friendly for a little while, but that feud's always going to be there, and that's fantastic because that is one that I don't get tired of seeing. Yeah. I've seen it every week for the past however many weeks it's been. NXT, I've seen it over and over and over, but I don't get sick of it. It's enjoyable to watch. It's exciting. It's fresh every time they do it, and that's because they do have such great chemistry. So that's one, I'm okay with them splitting them up because I know that when I do see them together, it's going to be a good story. Yeah. They don't have to do it all the time, but when they do it, it's fantastic. Yeah. No, I'd agree. I don't know if they split them up or not. I think I'll agree with you, and I would say Owens would go to SmackDown for some reason. I feel like because if Rollins was on Raw, he'd kind of be their top heel, right? So I feel like you split them up. So I feel like, and then Sammy would be on Raw. Yeah, I'll go with you. I think they'll split them up. That's one of the first thing I thought about today. What do they do? And the last thing was at the time of this recording, we recorded it tonight, Triple H tweeted out, and they've officially changed the name to TakeOver NXT. The next takeover is NXT TakeOver The End, which is, we can read into that whatever we want. Do you think that means a lot of the talent from NXT are coming up? Do you feel like they're going to cherry pick some people? Because to me, I feel like the majority will come up. I feel like the only one I'd say for sure is a Finn Balor will for sure come up because of the strap, but I feel like this is the time where you bring up Nakamura, and SmackDown's a perfect fit for him because Raw, they might not be it's Raw, we don't know if Nakamura can work. Joe's a perfect fit for a Raw, I think we're going to see a lot of those main guys down at NXT coming up. You're going to see, like you said, Finn, Joe, Nakamura, Bailey. Does American Alpha come up? American Alpha, I think, definitely will come up. I think they'll need another tag team. I do think there will be quite a few tag teams, guys that people like, Dash and Dawson. Yeah, I know a lot of people. You think they'll come up? I think so. Well, if they did, I'm just not the biggest fan. But if they did exclusive tag team, they would. Well, if they split the tag team, they need them. Yeah, if they split the tag team, they need them. But if they don't, I feel like Dash and Dawson or Blake and Murphy, somebody stays down. Blake and Murphy, though. Somebody stays down because they still need to have a name down there, right? They still need to have a couple names so the crowd still wants to be there because you can't just throw new guys at them every week and have them be excited about it. Or do you feel like some of these newer people like Austin Aries, Boy Rude, people that are coming from TNA and other people, that's going to be there's the first class of NXT and then this is kind of second class. Do you feel like
the end signifies like the Nakamura, Joe, Finn will all come up, and then this third class will be like the Austin Aries, these newer guys that just came in, and they'll kind of rock out in NXT for a while. Like that's what I feel like. You might see like 5 to 10 NXT people come up, and then just like a new roster in NXT.
Definitely, but you don't want. Obviously, I don't know any of these people personally, but you don't want. They're not 20-year-old guys. They've been around the block. They've wrestled other places. You don't want them stuck down in what is considered almost the developmental league. Obviously, they do need to learn the WWE style of wrestling, but you don't want them stuck down there at 35, 40 years old.
But I think if they were down for like a year while they got the other people ready,
I
like
think
if Hideo comes back, he could stay in NXT.
People like Finn can do that. I don't know these people. I haven't seen them wrestle very much. I don't know that they can do that, be down there for a year, or if they're just going to be like, pack the bags and go again because they're like, this isn't what I signed on for. This isn't what I was wanting to do. I wanted to come up to the main roster, right? Like, I don't think when they were like, yes, I'm signing my WWE contract, I'm going to be at NXT for the next year and a half. Like, I don't think that's what they really wanted. But who knows? That could be. They're like, yeah, NXT, that's the place to be. That's where I want to be.
That was Finn.
That's Finn. No, totally. And, like, I would love to see Finn stay there only because his matches down there are phenomenal. And I'm worried about when he comes up to the main roster. But that's definitely a different conversation as well.
Not that there's a split, not at all. I feel like just because they're gonna love him, he's gonna sell so much merch. I feel like now that there's I feel like even before there was a split, he'd be a big star. But now at the split, I feel like he'll be a huge star. Like I could see him going to SmackDown.
I was gonna say he'd actually be a really fun one to see on SmackDown, and then just basically like especially if he put on the demon persona often, and then like you just hear people from Raw, like they have segments where like, did you hear about this guy? And like when it comes down to like the first kind of pay-per-view where they're together, he like just, I don't know, like scares the shit out of them. You actually kind of get like a demon version, because I haven't seen that since I've been watching wrestling. Like you used to see it with The Undertaker and Demon Kane. I haven't seen any of that because they haven't had kind of like
though.
What?
That's not as scary.
No, he's not as scary.
They haven't really defined why he becomes a demon, other than like, hey, on pay-per-views he dresses up. You know,
but
like
it's fun to watch. He does it
so
well.
I almost wish he did it and I don't know if it would change the main roster. I almost wish he did it all the time, because that's the thing. If Undertaker was like biker Undertaker, and then at pay-per-view he was like scary Undertaker, it'd be kind of weird. And that's the thing with Finn. That's the only disconnect. I like his ring gear, but his character, he's still like his ring work. I mean, his character needs a bit more work, because like, he comes out in the leather jacket and he's all cool and everything, but then like when it's a big event, I like both
of it, because I feel like it's almost like a Jekyll Hyde thing.
Other than like, but the other thing I don't like too is whenever he's not the demon, he loses. So it's like, when he lost the title to Joe, he was not the demon. When he lost to Kevin Owens, first thing, he's not the demon. So that was the thing of like, so when you put up the makeup, you're superpowered. Like, explain it, you know? So
I think obviously the storylines need to be a bit better that way. But anyways, I don't even know where we were at, talking about just guys coming up. Yeah. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of I do think so. Like, when we saw NXT live in Dallas, seeing Nakamura was amazing. Like, amazing. I want to see him every week.
And he's been good in NXT.
I don't want to wait to watch NXT. I want to see him on Raw or on, I guess, now SmackDown.
NXT has really been lacking, because he's just versing Elias Samson. And not just respect for them, but like, they're just putting in matches that make Nakamura look good, but it's been really, like, my Nakamura, I'm really excited. I don't know, I've watched a few matches from New Japan, that was about it, but, like, after a takeover, I'm so high, and I'm not lower on, but it's just been, like, I feel like he's just not doing much. Is versing
They're not letting him do much.
He is versing Austin Aries at the next takeover, so that'll be good, but for a while, it was just, like, beat this guy, which I get it, they gotta establish him, but I don't think he needs to be at NXT. He's a guy you look at and he could be a huge star. Even if it's just to start him off as an IC champ. I feel like wherever he goes, eyes are going to be on him. And I feel like he can attract a lot of people. You know, he's just so charismatic.
I feel like I think an IC would actually be a great spot to put him, because he would make that... He would make that title so exciting to watch. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to watch The Miz right now.
I like The Miz because what he's doing with the heel.
And the character work is fun, I guess. But that's who could beat him. For the last, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's been the same thing, and I'm bored of it already. So
I'll disagree. I think The Miz doing it.
I think
you're just mad Cesaro doesn't have it.
No, that's not even it. I'm literally just bored of the matches. Like, I'm pretty sure I've napped through a couple of them.
But that IC
because I'm
Fatal
bored.
4-Way was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I'll give him the credit. I was more bored with Kalisto.
Definitely think he can come up, or, like, those guys are going to come up. Obviously, Joe, I think, will come up because I don't think there's anything else for him to do down there. Who else is there? Yeah, like Hideo, that's kind of a tough one because obviously I think he'll need to stay down in NXT. Obviously, recovering from his injury, he'll need to kind of retrain a bunch.
Yeah. Here comes a sneeze. There you go. Well, I think that was a good breakdown. Was there anything you wanted to add about the draft and just overall, are you excited for it?
Yeah,
cautiously optimistic.
I'd say I'm cautious. It's something I've kind of, like, ever since you kind of told me about it, I've been like, they should do that again because I like seeing that secondary title, regardless of what position it's in, whether it's equal or whether it is secondary.
Podcast, you'd be like, oh, they got to put them back together.
Oh, totally. Like, I'll probably watch it for like 2 months and be bored of it. You know what though? It's something different, and it's nice to see because in the how long has it been? Like, God, it's been almost 4 years of watching wrestling.
They've been split for about like 3.5.
Yeah, so since I've been watching, though, it's parts of it get really stale. It's like, I remember for the first almost 6 months of me watching wrestling, who was it? It was Sheamus, Randy Orton, I think Big Show was in there. And, like, they had, like, I don't know if you would consider them a tag team or a faction or whatever. They were, like, every week, like...
Well, I think they were building up to verse the Shield, that's why.
But you know what? They ended up versing Ryback or something like that. And, like...
No.
There was... Yes,
no,
it was... Something happened with Ryback. I just remember this entire situation. I was so bored of it. And I feel like it doesn't happen as much anymore where it goes on for that long. But there's still things that just happen. And I'm just getting... It gets boring. And it's like, yes, there's... Like, certain situations that happen that get me really excited. Like, Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania last year was... That got me excited. And I was really excited to watch Seth Rollins for a long time. But he got boring when he came out at the beginning of Raw every week and talked for 20 minutes sometimes. Like, they need something to shake it up. And I'm hoping that with the brand split, there may be some shake up in storyline writing and whatnot as well. You gotta hope, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm excited for the fact of, like, yay, it's a draft. They'll be shaking things up. I'm not really overall excited for it. I really wish they would have maybe just stuck with this for a little longer because it hasn't been that long since they split the draft or split the brands. But I'll wait and see how it goes. I would have rather them kept it the way it is, but hey, we'll see how it goes. If you like this, let me know. Maybe we'll do some more wrestling podcasts in the future. Got a couple other people that watch wrestling, so could have some fun with it. For everything else, if you're listening to this on the day it came out, check out our X-Men Apocalypse review tonight when it comes out very, very late, probably like 10, 12, maybe 3 a.m. I'm not sure. We're going to be live streaming it as well. So we got that. E3 stuff's coming up, so you find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, everything like that for all information, podcasts, YouTube. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe, rate, do all that good jazz. I'm not sure what the next Rant Rave Repeat episode will be, but it won't be boring.
Bye.